We acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation as the traditional custodians on the land of which Al, Kate and all their mates is recorded. Always was, always will be.
Welcome to another episode of Al, Kate and all their mates. We're here with our mate, Ben Stewart from Slowly Slowly. What's up, Ben?
Hello. How are you?
We're good. How are you going?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for joining us, Ben. It's great to have you here. Al, kick us off. Ben is your mate.
Yeah.
How did you meet Ben? When did it all start?
Well, I mean, I've been a great admirer of Ben's for many, many, many years. And I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago now that I basically cold DM'd Ben.
You slid in.
I slid into the DMs and I was like, hey, man, it seems really strange that we've never met. Like, it feels like we're sort of in the same orbit and operate in the same universe. And I think it's about time we became friends. And you so graciously invited me to your studio and we had a couple of espressos on Nicholson Street. Is that right?
Yeah, I was just struggling to remember where I feel like I've known you for so long now. But yeah, it was. Yep, you DM'd, we hung out, and then we just feel like old friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Hey, Ben, we start this show with a segment called Can't Stop, Won't Stop, where we ask you and each other what's something that you can't stop listening to or reading or watching or thinking about, or something that you want to stop even. Can you think of something off the top of your head?
I actually am just in such a loop with demos and work at the moment. I go back to my own SoundCloud of just demos of either other people I'm working with or my own. And I very rarely consume music outside that at the moment because I'm just stuck in a loop of like trying to get better and improve things. And I'm just carving away all these statues and I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about the other day, I need something to sink my teeth into. I need like a fresh artist or something to like be inspired by because I'm a bit sick of the sound of my own voice.
Kathy, what do you got?
I've got sort of, I'm just, it's our segment so I can name it whatever I want. I've got something that I need to do, so it has to happen, but at a certain point of it, it needs to stop. So what that is, and it might be very complicated, but I'll explain it. Movie trailers or TV trailers. Okay, so before a new show, committing to either going to the movies or committing to a new show that I'm going to sit down and watch, I have to have some context behind it. I think I just have been burnt too many times watching something that is just really, really bad or I'm not at all interested in. So I'll have to watch at least part of the trailer, but I cannot ever watch a full trailer because of the, I guess, prospect of how many spoilers are in trailers. So I'll watch like a good sort of 20 to 30 seconds of it and feel like I have a grasp of what it is and work out if I want to watch it or not. And then at that point, the trailer must stop because I'm like, okay, cool. I've committed. I've made a decision. I don't want to see any more. I just want to watch it. Because how many times have you been watching like a TV show or something that you've seen the trailer of and you're like, I remember that part in the trailer. When is that happening? Or when are we getting to that? And I just can't stay in the moment of what I'm watching knowing what's coming. So
Totally.
That's sort of how, I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but that's sort of what I've noticed about my own behavior recently.
Oh yeah, choosing a show to watch. That is like that's a university degree now.
Yeah.
Me and my wife recently had like the most boomer situation ever. And my younger brother was telling me, he's like, you have to watch this new show, Pluribus. He's like, it's so good. And I was like, all right. I was like, we hardly get any time to watch TV, but I was like, we'll try and fire it up this week. He was like raving about it. And then we quickly signed up to like Apple, whatever that.
That's the other thing, because it's a financial
yeah.
commitment
Yeah,
too.
so I'm like, oh, all right, we get the free trial. We'll try and watch an episode. We pull it up, get through the first 2 episodes in the first scene. I'm like, this is actually pretty sick. Then I sit down with my brother Danny, had a family thing the next week. I'm like, that Pluribus show is awesome. Like, I love the bit where, you know, there's this woman who is like the investigator and he's just like, you know what? That's not Pluribus. And I'm like, we've been in such a rush because we have no time for this show on, and we started the wrong show. And we ended up finishing it, this other show, and it was great. But then we did the thing where we went on Rotten Tomatoes and looked at the score of the show we did watch, and we're like, we never would have said yes to this because of the intense research you do.
Yep.
for the finite amount of time you watch a show. I was like, we never would have said yes, but we accidentally stumbled on it and we loved it. And then
It's one of the best mistakes ever.
Yeah. And I often look at like, you know, movies you grew up with that you hold so dear to your, you know, fabric of yourself, and they have terrible scores.
So you never would have watched
You
them
never
as
would
an
have
adult.
watched them. And just that fatigue, yeah.
What was the mistake?
I want to know.
It was Down Cemetery Road.
Okay.
It was like an English murder mystery thing. Really inoffensive, but loved it.
Cool.
So the show went from being pluribus, some American like show,
Like
to
sci-fi.
becoming this British.
Yeah. My
And you're
brother,
like, okay.
my brother was like,
Sounds different, but
is,
sure.
is there a virus that attacks the, and I'm like, no virus, just
What virus?
When do they get sick?
everyone's fine.
What's yours, Al?
Look, my can't stop, won't stop is Chobani yogurt pouches. I fucking love that shit.
Yes.
Oh my God. So my mother is Greek, and I find that a lot of Greeks or half Greeks that I know, I don't know if this is the same with Italians, consistently are lactose intolerant in their
really?
in their adult years. It's like a thing. Like me and all of my like friends with Greek backgrounds all have lactose intolerance. I'm one of those people. And so I always thought that yogurt was like out of the question for me because it would be a disaster. Barney yogurt pouches, and they were in the fridge, and you know I just didn't go there. And then one day I looked at the back of them, and it doesn't say it like as a part of the advertising, but they actually are lactose free.
Oh.
Like they've got lactase in them, and so I can have them. So I've been sucking on those pouches ever since.
Sucking them dry.
Oh my God. And they are so good. They're so good on the go. They just like, if I don't have time for breakfast, like I had one like pretty much every day I was in the car coming to your studio, like every morning. But I had this weird experience the other day. I was at my mum's house, and my mum has a couple of cats, and one of the cats, like her treat is that, you know, they have those weird like cat treats in the little tube.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I bring out
They look very similar.
I bring out my yogurt pouch, and this cat's like, fuck yeah.
We're on.
And like circling around my legs and trying to jump up to get close to me. I'm like, okay, this is now a bit weird. Now it looks like I'm eating cat treats.
I think any traveling food in the world that we're in now, and especially for me, I wake up as late as possible. So anything that I can eat on the run is an absolute winner. So I think the yogurt pouches are here to stay.
Shout out to producer Gigi, who gifted me, I think, like half a dozen Chobani yogurt pouches all duct taped together like some sort of bouquet for my birthday last year.
You're like Romulus. Just with this big pouch of teats.
Yeah. Suckling on my yogurt. My yogurt teats. The bitties.
Beautiful.
That's it. Well, Ben, you just released your latest solo record, Junkdrawers, at the end of last year.
Yes.
And it's a bloody ripper.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love the Ben Stewart solo project. I love the sort of shift in the songwriting, the change in perspective, and just the approach. It feels, to me, it feels so cathartic. And I'm really curious to know about what the difference is for you when you write for your solo project versus when you write for Slowly Slowly. And also, is that a deliberate thing that you begin? Are you like, okay, time to do the Ben Stewart record or time to do the Slowly record? Or is it one of those things where you're just writing and then they eventually find their home?
Yeah, I've thought heavily about this, and I have lots of different answers for different times of the day. But I think the main one was I realized a few years ago that like people consume music for different reasons, and then I had always consumed it for like some sort of catharsis or like self-soothing or something. And so the music I would make with Slowly is very like it's not background music, and it's got, you have to like engage with it, and then that's where, and I think anyway, but that when I realized that people were consuming music for different reasons, it was like a growing up thing. I think it gave me license to start creating music within that solo realm where it was a little bit more of like an insular world that you could choose to tap in and out of. And it was more about, I don't know, just like creating a feeling that you could, tap in and out of. And so when the best way I can put it is if I write a song that's very just like demanding your attention, it's very slowly. But then the Ben Stewart stuff is a little bit more, gosh, I don't know, definitely a little bit more navel gazy, and just I don't know. It exists for the sake of existing, and it's kind of for me that one. And so it's less pushed through any templating, and I don't have to answer to anyone, and it doesn't it doesn't necessarily need to translate to the stage as well. I can be a bit more kind of like studio wandery with it, and I think I just needed something that didn't have any rules. So that one's I can sound like and do whatever I want, and nobody bats an eyelid.
Have you ever started a project that you thought was going to be a solo project or a song, or a slowly project or a song, and then sort of somewhere throughout the process have been like, I think this fits better over here, or I think this fits better over there? Has that ever sort of happened?
Yeah, or are there songs that actually are there any songs that exist in both worlds?
Yeah.
There's been ones that like I tried, for years to like shoehorn them into like a certain project, and then I realized that it just wasn't like the truth of the song or whatever. So stuff that I'd been like trying to turn into like big rock extravaganzas, they sort of was just like, it's not. Yep. This is like a 3-part story song that just needs to like amble and be softly sung and not have to be like, there's an element in slowly of things being I think because in my head it's so tied with the live, it has to be like performance, you know what I mean? So it's like the different elements have to be like impressive. Yeah. Whereas it's like the solo stuff can be just so unimpressive in the best way. Like
which in its own way is impressive.
Which it can be kind of like I don't need the vocal to be like an impressive vocal take or an exercise of like being a virtuoso at something. It can just literally exist what it is. It can be a voice memo. So that I think is was freeing, because a lot of those songs I was trying to make fit. It was like, you don't have to be like this, little one. You can come over here for the participation award album.
Come hither.
Come.
I mean, I guess then again, adjacent to, slowly, once again, like I almost feel like when I think about your output, I almost think of it as this like kind of linear spectrum. And, there's Ben Stewart and there's slowly, and then there's also Too Slow. Can you tell us more about that project?
The Too Slow.
Yeah, this fascinates me.
So that's just like, and it's like guilty pleasure stuff. That's the band that brought us all together as bandmates in Slowly was Blink, and just all the bands adjacent to that and that movement in the early 2000s that we just grew up on. That's our, and we've sort of, songs were popping up all the time that were in that vein, because it's just the way that, it's like every 5 or 6 songs I write has to be in that vein. And I think it was a conscious decision, just like, I don't want Slowly to be that. And we need a home for all this stuff, and we need a place where, because our drummer, Pat, and a big driver behind Too Slow he's a really, really impressive skate punk drummer, which is sort of a lost art nowadays. It was a skill that sort of came and went, that you cannot fake. Like, you need to spend like an entire childhood like playing those sorts of songs for it to work.
Sure, yeah.
And it was just like a lost art that it was like we were using this Maserati to get to and from work around the corner.
Yeah.
We were like, we need to push this and like make some really fast and some really like high energy songs to accommodate. But I didn't kind of want Slowly to feel like this sceney kind of like really alt band. It's because it's not. And so it just got to the point. The discography was too big. I couldn't. I didn't want the albums to start to sound like my greatest hits records, where it was like too much of a smorgasbord. So I needed a home for it. I've always like really looked up to artists like Chino Marino from Deftones and stuff, who have multiple projects and different homes for things, and always saw myself like that. regardless of how much everyone in the industry will tell you it's the wrong thing to do and it dilutes and this, that. So I think it adds. So that's the reason for Too Slow. Yeah.
Yeah. And Al was explaining it to me before you came in about sort of the concept of, slowly, then too slow. But oftentimes you'll open slowly shows with too slow.
Can I also just add, Kathy, that the Too Slow vinyl is this true? It was shipped to people through pizza boxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We had a pizza theme. Yeah.
That's cool.
We created the Too Slow Pizza Company and they all shipped out. I actually had to buy so many pizza boxes. We shipped everything because the music is only available on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
We just had a big shipping day with our manager, Dave, me, and our lighting guy, Sam, who insisted on wearing the Too Slow crop top for the entire day. And he's like 6'7". So it's a lot of navel.
It's a lot of crop. Yeah.
It's the only image I think of when I think of that packing day. It was very DIY.
Yeah.
And it was good fun. And like I think it was a knee jerk as well it was the first time we were out of a record deal, like for I don't know how many records. And
Do what
so
the fuck you want. Yeah.
yeah, and we were just like, you know what? We're going to start another band with all the same members and it's going to be a pop punk project and we're going to do only music on Bandcamp and we're going to ship everything out in pizza boxes. Like it was the dumbest idea, but it was because we could finally.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
The thing about slowly, I feel it's like, I feel like there's like the slowly cinematic universe, you know? It's just sort of like so many things come into it and it really does feel like you've done an amazing job at world building, basically.
Thank you.
But, you know, you touched on Deftones before, but I was sort of wondering if there were any other like people or artists or bands that you either look to or you feel have done a similar thing throughout their career.
I mean, like I really like Bright Eyes and Connor and the kind of world that he's created. Blink's an obvious one with all of the side projects affiliated with that. The Deftones thing and like Team Sleep and Crosses and all that played such a important part in like liberating me to do it because other people had paved it. Oh gosh, I mean, there's like on like just a friend level, like my friend Simo, who's a producer of Melbourne who plays in Arm Lock.
Yeah.
He has Chloe.
Shout out to Simon Lamb.
Yeah, he's had Isles. He's just affiliated with so many different things, and I like that. That was inspiring. Like he's someone who I look up to a lot.
I think Phoebe Bridgers also falls into the category as well.
Absolutely.
Like for sure.
Yep, that's so true. Yep, definitely
Your
Phoebe.
friend Phoebe.
I mean, Bon Iver's also the other, like Justin
Oh,
Vernon's
of
like
course.
another
Yeah.
sort of obvious contemporary one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I also think like Alex Turner, at least for a
Yeah.
bit there, he was
Yeah.
kind of doing it. I feel like now he's sort of just enjoying, I don't know, being rich and cool, you know, somewhere in the world.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
There's a few. I think it's hard keeping, because you know what it's like releasing one album.
Dude.
I constantly get home and I just look at my wife and I just go, why do people make records? This is like every time it's like a PhD.
It's crazy.
Every time it's like a uni degree. Like it's just endless the amount of listening and hours into these things. And like, I'm glad that the world is kind of waking up to, I think, artists, like their art being valued a bit more.
Yeah.
Because it really, the last few years has been really depressing about just I think I was talking to you about it. It's like, you know, you grow this little baby in the manger and then you put it in this
in the rapids.
in this rapid that just goes over a waterfall and you just
Yeah.
say goodbye and that's it. And it like, yeah, it doesn't matter how many hours go in, it can be over in a flash.
Yeah.
And it's, I guess that's why we tour, because we get to relive it. But yeah.
I mean, there's something like that's surely very scary about it as well, in the same sort of token that you've just given that analogy. Like you've poured a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of you into something. And then it's just like, well, everyone do with it what you will. You're going to say you hate it. You're going to say you love it. It is such a reflection of how people like it would be so hard not to take that so personally when a record is either criticized or loved. And basing surely it's difficult to not base your worth on something that you've just put out there, because it is so damning and it is so on display for everyone.
For sure, yeah. It's very, I mean, you'd feel it.
It's a part of you.
Yeah.
You know, these records are a part of us, and they will forever be a part of us. You know, it's you know, I guess you could call it legacy or whatever, but it's just also like something you've made, you know, and so it defaults to being a part of you.
Yeah, but I think there's so much courage in that to start with, like to have the courage to be able to, all right, we're going again, like we're doing this. And like from someone that's not in that industry, that is something that's so admirable, that it's just like, wow, you guys have put yourself on the line. Like you have. Regardless of whether you use your name to release your record or a band name or someone else's name, like that takes so much courage. And to just continue to do that, I think when you're in the industry, you probably don't get that kind of feedback because everyone does it and it's just what everyone does.
Well,
but
the
like,
feedback in the industry is what's next?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I think having
the
time,
next one.
Where's the next baby?
yeah, to reflect on that and be proud of yourself as well.
Oh, thanks, Kate.
To go
thank
again.
you.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, I just play football, so
No, well, that's not true though, because
There's
like,
a lot of parallels to footy with that.
yeah.
It's
I
like getting benched for a season and then
Exactly.
having to do it again. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's a kind of a good segue for my next question, because, you know, there are a couple of bands that I've come across and like in a, you know, direct personal way where I feel like, you know, their fans don't just like their band, they love their band. And I remember having that conversation with one of the guys from Manchester Orchestra. Like they're one of those bands whose fans just love them. Like going to their show is like going to church, you know, they are so devout.
Yeah.
And I always talk about artists they're kind of treated like a football team by their fans. It's like they are so loyal and, you know, they stand by these bands and it's a part of their life and
Ride
their
or die.
identity. Yeah, it's a part of their life and their identity. And I really feel like Slowly is one of those bands. I actually think that Slowly is one of the few bands in Australia that has that kind of dedicated following. Like your fans show up. And I'm really curious as to, did you deliberately kind of cultivate that culture and attitude about the band, or is it something that you sort of, I guess, like got lucky with?
When the project first started, I remember being really excited by working with like graphic designers and then people who made video clips and like live photographers, and like it was like we created the community before the fans were there. And then I still remember the first show where somebody came that wasn't a friend and you're like, what are you doing here?
Oh, isn't that crazy?
Oh yeah, you're working the
It's
merch
like,
desk.
how did you
Like, what-
find out about this? What are you
you know.
doing here?
And then I think our previous manager, Sarah, who is a really close friend of mine, sort of started like a Facebook fan group for like little like early ticket sales and other things like that. And that really giving people an online space where they could just like meet other people who were interested in it. And sometimes they were interstate. And then since then, gosh, it's just grown, and like people have like uprooted their lives and like moved interstate because they found friends in the group. People have found like their, you know, fiancés or at shows. Like we still, every time we play a show, get a post in that group that's like, I'm heading to the show alone tonight. None of my friends could make it. Who wants to hang? And like they'll meet up. It's a really, really good crew. I feel like just so lucky often. And sometimes people will hit us up and I'll be like, I'm heading to the show alone. Or I'm thinking about buying tickets to your show, but I don't have anyone to go with. And I'll say, hit up the group, like, and they're always like, oh my God, I hung out with so-and-so, like, and now we're getting coffee, or, you know. I don't actually know. I'd like to think it's just oh gosh, I don't know. I think I'd like to think we played a part in it, just because after every show where I can, I'll stay at the merch desk and meet everyone that wants to meet till the very end. If anybody says hi to me, I always give them the time of day and try and, you know, I'm still as grateful for people coming to the shows now as they were when we first started. I just like, and I think that, we never really fit in a lot in those kind of early sceney kind of cliques. I think and I actually think that's a big part of why the community has been as galvanized as it has been, is because we never really saw ourselves as like separate from the audience, or like, you know, and it's just like part of the job to be grateful and like meet everyone who's like taken the time out of their day or driven for hours on end or got a babysitter, or I just feel like it's part of the job, like to be there. I don't know. So I'd like to think we played a role in it, but gosh, it is probably a lot of luck too. Yeah.
One thing when sort of doing some research, I came across the fandom that you speak of, Al, and something that just stuck out to me, like you saying that the things that you do to go above and beyond for fans. The one that I came across was that you wrote a song for a fan to help announce to their partner that they were expecting a baby. That is wild.
That one was wild.
Take us through that, and then
gosh,
trying to do it
that
justice. That must have been
high pressure,
incredibly hard.
Yeah, that one was. They didn't request to write the song. They wanted us in any way to just play a part in the announcement, whether that was. And I was like, how funny would it be if there was a song? And like, I think, you know, it was. To be fair, it was kind of like during the COVID lockdowns, and it was like I actually had a second to like properly do it. You know, otherwise
like great something to do.
Well, it was just otherwise that, you know, the kind of torrent of life gets in the way. But like, I wanted it all like revealed by the last line, and kind of like these little. I asked for a bunch of like facts about their life that no one would know, and I was just like feeding them in as the song went. So when he was listening to the song, he was like, you can watch his face be like, am I on the Truman Show? Like, so yeah, that was a good one. That was good fun.
Any others that spring to mind like that?
Well, it goes two ways. The fan group's done some crazy shit to us as well. Like, we had a fake political campaign in Brisbane last year where like
I was going to ask about this. This is amazing.
Our faces were put on like different
like campaign posters.
Campaign posters,
like how to vote
for like
cards
local elections.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I now know who's responsible for that. And it's very funny. But gosh, there's been a couple of weird ones like that. I think every time I get a haircut, there was like a missing posters that went around at Good Things Festival in I can't remember, but for my hair, and they were just like everywhere. I'm talking like A1 size, like fucking
mass
missing
distribution.
posters. So they have such a sense of humor, and there's just like a playfulness there with them. It's not, it's good fun. It's good fun. We have fun.
I think you get what you give with fans. Like, I really do. Like, and you know, you guys are so generous. I mean, all these things that we just spoke about, and even what you were talking about with, you know, interacting with fans on that personal level, like, I think the generosity comes back. But I think that's what's most beautiful about the Slowly fans, is that the generosity is also to each other, you know, and it's that community thing that's so special and so unique about what it means to have your band in their life. And that's, I don't know, I think that's the coolest thing ever. So
Thank you.
It's all you, baby. Well done.
Bloody lovely.
So we wanted to talk about your beautiful daughter, Stella.
Salut.
She had her recording debut on Junkdrawers, is that right?
She did, yes. Yeah.
And she crushed in the studio. It's a beautiful thing.
It was actually a voice memo.
It was so good. And even Kate, like Ben, did a launch show for this record at Shock Kickers in Thornbury, and the track was even coming through the PA as well. Like, she was in the show too, which is such a cool thing. But one of the things that we were wanting to hear from you is kind of about how parenthood, which is something that has come in the last, within the last 3 years for you, how that has changed you, not just as an individual, but also as a creative person.
A lot. Yeah, I feel like it's been probably the most impactful, little juncture of my creative career, other than picking up the guitar for the first time. I feel like it's been that much of a redirection of all the energy, because it's been really affirming in like being a creative, and also like you'd know, like when you're in this industry, your inbox often gets things pop into it that they, especially as like an insecure artist or someone who's not extroverted, you're constantly challenged, because like things just pop in your inbox all the time, and you would as well. Like it's one thing going on the field and like playing a game, but then there's all of the extraneous things that like push you out of your box. And for the first time ever, it's made me just so much more chill with it, because I just have to set the example now, and I just have to be like, I can't be doling out advice. Like, you have to believe in yourself, you have to be kind to yourself, and you have to, and then not live it, because I think they learn so much more through your doing than your advice. So you kind of like have to start putting your money where your mouth is with like a lot of your life advice. Someone said to me the other day, it wasn't the other day, it was a little bit ago now, but I was complaining about working on something, and I was saying it's taking forever. They called me a perfectionist, and I was like, I'm not a perfectionist. I was like, I am like the furthest thing from a perfectionist. Like I am constantly like missing the bar, and they're like, that's what a perfectionist is. And I had this realization where I was like, a perfectionist never feels like they did a perfect job. Like the perfectionist is someone who's like constantly dissatisfied, so you spend your life reaching. And it was a great realization, because I think just especially with art, sometimes like you can really flog a dead horse if you're just, especially with all the technology we have now and how much editing. And so it's been like, as part of that like freeing process of like being comfortable with me, a lot of it's being like letting the art like just do its thing and not like be so judgmental of it, because just finding the inner child. It's like, it's it. Like you have to play in the studio.
I think a lot of times when we hear from women about what it's like to be a mother and be a parent, I think a lot of times the question isn't asked to men. And what it's like to be a dad. Like, what is one of, maybe one's a bit hard, but some of the best things about being a dad?
Well, firstly, the question's probably not asked because it is so much harder for our poor mums who have to shoulder so much of this burden and then kiss goodbye their careers for God knows how long. And it's just like, it opened my eyes so much to the sacrifice my own mother made, and just every mother. I'm just in awe of mothers. So firstly, that has to come with a caveat, but I do love being a dad so much, and it's, as tricky as it does get. I often like lie in bed and I just think about like just the complexity of this role, because you have, I feel like a role like as a producer is a complex role, because you're trying to like do your best whilst honor the artist's vision, and it has to be technically correct, but it also has to be true and honest and an accurate representation. And, there's this, but then being a dad is like just a whole other level of complexity to the role, because you have to be fun, but then you have to like be an authority, and like being a parent is not being a best friend. It's often like you have to be the guardrails a lot, especially if you've got a kid that pushes the boundaries, which I do. And just like keeping you cool, but also being like, it's okay to feel, and not like the last thing you want is to create like an air of like repression in your house, or like that everything is fine all the time energy, which is often just as toxic as yelling. And so yeah, it's so hard. Like you just like, and it's a job that just doesn't take a break. So like you're making like decisions on the fly under the pump, and it's so hard.
no handbook.
Yeah, no handbook, and you're losing perspective in the whole time. So, gosh, it is tricky, but yeah, it's really rewarding too. And like, yeah, they're little mirrors. They just show you like all the good and bad of you, which is just so funny to relive. But yeah. It's good.
Sweet. Well, we had Anna from Teen Jesus on the show recently, and the activity of crowdsurfing came up.
Okay.
Both Anna and I are petrified of crowdsurfing. I've never done it.
Okay.
And neither has Anna.
Yeah.
But I know you do it all the time. So if I was to try and do it, what are your hot tips?
Okay, this is good because there is a lot of etiquette to it. I've had a few friends who've been artists that have caused injuries.
Ooh, yeah.
And I think that just woke me up to the responsibility of it. And I think, subscribing to a good etiquette with it. So, you know, touch wood, there's been like, there was no injuries, but you have to like give the forewarning it's happening.
Yeah, right.
So like, and I would always like stand on the barrier, and then the person that you're going to destroy the most, make deep eye contact with them so they know.
I'm going to do it.
I'm
going to do it.
They know. You give them the look and it's like, it's coming. My Doc Martens are coming. And then they, you know, most of the time it's fine. I remember somebody made like this TikTok compilation of our show, their experience at our show in Perth it was. And it was this poor young girl that I think it was me that had accidentally come in contact with her nose pretty hard with my shoe. And she had just blood like streaming down, and she's smiling at the end of the show. It was like, so there has been injuries, but I think if you're doing that etiquette of just letting people know what's happening, and then you can't just jump on someone who's clearly not going to hold the weight. Like, so I think, you know, there's often someone that when you step up onto the barrier, there's someone that comes out of the woodwork, some poor masochist who's like, you see it in the eyes, and their hand comes up and they're like, fuck me up. I'm the one. And that generally is a good, like, you know, if you find one, they can generally, you know, be the pillar.
The chick with the bloody nose makes me think of like Regina George once
was
punched me
thinking-
in the face.
It was awesome. That was literally what came to
kicked
mind.
me in the nose. It was awesome.
This one time Regina George wore army pants and flip-flops, so I wore army pants and flip-flops. That I don't know how, that was exactly what I thought then.
I felt it too.
I feel like that also feeds into our segment that we call No Dumb Questions. And if
No offense,
potentially we have a sport guest, Al gets to sort of rack her brains for things that she's wanted to ask them. If we have musical or creatives, I get to think about some things that maybe people have always wanted to ask but have been too scared to, or I just like asking dumb questions. When it comes to Slowly, Slowly though, there is a song that always sticks out to me, and it's Jellyfish. And like, surely there's times where you've written songs where you're just like, that is so ridiculous, but it's the one that people sort of gravitate towards. And for me, like Jellyfish, like the terms of jellyfish being crazy, is that something that just at the time you were just like, this is ridiculous, but let's go with it?
Yeah, it was, you know, one of those songs that just happened in 5 minutes, fleeting little voice memo that got passed around the band chat. Nobody batted an eye. You know, we recorded it, and then all of a sudden people were singing it at shows before it came out, like just from people sharing live videos of it, and we're just like, God, people really like this Jellyfish song. And it's kind of just been like that the whole time.
Yeah.
But I think it taps into this like existential feeling where you like, you know, those moments you get where you zoom out and you're like, this world is ridiculous.
Yep.
Like my life, the existence, and all of a sudden you get like a little just, you know, I think it just taps into that because it is the absurdity of reality, and I do like that. I think it's when people are just like surface level listening to it and they're like, you wrote a song about jellyfish? Man. Anyway, but we recently rewrote the intro of it. It goes for like 3 minutes and it's like this math rock thing just so we could like reinvigorate our love for the song.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to see it on the set list. I was I telling you about it?
Yeah.
And like resent.
Yeah. and just go, fuck, it's next.
Not again. Yeah.
But like now I see it on there and I'm like, ooh.
Well, we close our shows with a segment called Extra Time, which is basically just a bunch of quick fire questions that we're going to launch your way.
Okay.
Some of which I think I already know the answer to, including this first one, which is, what is your coffee order?
Double espresso.
What was the last TV show or movie you watched? It may have been your mistaken
Your
watch at
hybrid
the start.
No, we actually-
bus experience.
We went back and rectified and watched Pluribus.
There we go.
So I did watch that and I enjoyed it.
What's your favourite holiday destination?
St. Leonard's in not far from here actually.
Famously.
Yep.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
I am an early bird.
Get the worm.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm a night owl too. I like both. I just hate sleeping.
Do you prefer cooking or doing the dishes?
Cooking. Yeah. I don't mind doing the dishes too. I find it quite meditative. Yeah.
Early win or a late comeback?
Oh, the late comeback for sure. You want to rub it in the face. You want to watch the light drain from their eyes as you kick that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ben Stewart, what's one thing that you think the world needs more of right now?
Kindness, love. We're in a bleak time, so I can't be funny. I have to just say, honestly, just love, kindness, drop the fear of the other.
Beautiful.
Well, we have loved having you join us, and hopefully this does spread a lot of kindness and just opens up the world of Slowly. And yourself, Ben, thank you so much for coming on Al, Kate and All Their Mates. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, anywhere you get your podcasts, and we'll be back soon with another episode of Al, Kate and All Their Mates.